Hello everybody, welcome back to the Good Vintage podcast. I'm excited to launch again the English language edition, where I will explore more the Swiss and international digitalization scene. And today I'm joined in person by Felix Brunold. Hi, Felix.
Hello.
I'm very happy to be here. You showed me before where do you work at the moment, and it was very, very impressive. Thank you so much for that. I will give a bit small introduction about you, that the people know why did I invite you. So Felix, you're the industrial designer, but with a pretty deep passion for the computational design and the digital fabrication. You're based in Switzerland, and you're co-founder of the VektorNode. Is it correct?
Yes.
Perfect. And the VektorNode, we will definitely speak more about it. But just like as a shortcut, I would say you kind of like build the design to production systems.
Yeah, I think like it's systems.
Good. Yeah. And you're as well like an active contributor to the open source construction ecosystem and discussions, I would say.
Yeah, I'm part of the community there. Yes.
Great. And how did we meet? I think for the first time I saw you at some short presentation from the PAS Academy.
Yeah, I think so.
Quite some years ago, and then I think we saw each other maybe a couple of times at some BIM Beers events or something like that. Let's jump into the first questions. So you studied industrial design in the Zurich University of the Arts. What was the reason why did you choose this school or this profession?
I think it was a bit by chance. Okay. So, like, first I gave a try to ETH to study mechanical engineering, but I quite quickly found out that it's not for me. Also, like, I love the creativity sometimes. So then I thought about like architecture or industrial design, and so I had like 2 more weeks to hand in my portfolio for industrial design. And so I was like, either I get in there or I will start architecture. And so it turned out I got in, and then from this point on it was quite clear that I will proceed this part. Mm-hmm. But I was always very interested in like solving problems and geometry itself. So I think that's where the root was of everything. Mm-hmm.
And when you started your studies, did you have a vision what kind of designer you want to become? Or it was just like, let's have some fun?
Yeah, I mean, like at Zetatica, you have like really nice workshops, like wood workshops and metal workshops, or like you can work with 3D printing and stuff like this. So that was a good mix of technology and design, and that was everything that I liked to do. So I didn't have a clear vision where it would go to. But during my studies, I realized that I didn't really like to work on product iterations. Mm-hmm. So like, do I really want to design the next shaving device version 21 or something like this? So I was a bit lost in between. Mm-hmm. Of like, okay, like, do we really need another razor? Like, and do I want to be part of that? So that was how I started to look around what else there is. And so we had one studies where it was about like doing interviews with design professionals. And that was really, really good because we had to find a topic that we want to know more about. And so I don't know how this guy was called, but he was working at New Balance, and he did like computational design in industrial design. So that was the first time I've heard about computational design, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, that's really cool to have also. Like, that was sometimes missing in industrial design for me, and probably it is not missing for most of the people, is like having like a clear
answer
answer or like numbers behind my design. Like in industrial design, it's very like iterative driven, but it's like more like you look at it, you feel the product, which is a really nice process. But I also wanted to have like why like can I quantify this design, and that's how I came more in this track of like using algorithms to shape geometry.
Yeah, it's interesting that for me, it was a bit like a similar path why I am in the digitalization of architecture, because I had a feeling that to make a design is so like a wide topic, bright, that there is no clear answer and there is no right answer. And with some digitalization, you kind of have more like numbers or some like I totally understand it. I think with the industrial design, it's even more like open.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty good. Like connected, I have a bit like another question, maybe a bit like a provocative question is: do you have a feeling that the computational design kind of like democratizing the creativity, or that the creating? That basically like the creating is more than for the like a small group of people who can code?
So I think I didn't quite understand the question. Can you?
So if you think that, because like the computational design, you can only do it if you're pretty good in coding and in mathematics. So the people who cannot do it, they cannot kind of like design in this way. So it may be that this creativity and using the computational design is only for the group of the people and not for everybody.
So I think I'm not a math genius. So I think like the math part is like quite open. But I think like some people will be better at drawing shapes by hand and being really expressive about it, and will be extremely fast. So in industrial design, that's a big win. That's maybe my take. Like in architectural field or like construction field, you have way more like predictable shapes in this way. So where computational design gets more interesting. But I think like also with tools like Grasshopper, you don't have to code necessarily. So also like if you're coming from a more design focused field where it's not like I never coded before I went into this field. So I was just like learning a lot of principles again, like very basic math principles. And so I think like it just depends on the determination and not about like, are you able to do it or not? I think it's more that.
And I think you say kind of yourself, so this switch into more computational design, it already happened while doing your studies.
Yeah.
I think I read or I saw your bachelor thesis that was basically the topic was the computational design. You can maybe describe it.
Yeah, the bachelor thesis had two parts. Like one was more theoretical, where I went into the taxonomy of computational design, because I realized working in this field, like everyone had different understanding of what is parametric design, what is computational design, what belongs to computational design, generative design, or like you have like so many words that are floating around. And so I went into and analyzed all the words that are coming in there. And then in the more practical part, I looked at all these computational design tools and looked how they can be used in industrial design. And so I tried to use it on headphone generation. So like taking the head of a human basically as an input, and then based on that and different parameters, optimizing like a headphone on a head. So like you have like this process. So that's basically the only time I really used computational design in an industrial design.
Interesting. Was there a prototype of the headphones?
No, like that was also interesting. Like at the end presentation, everyone had like a nice physical thing to
The
present.
prototype, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so my prototype was basically
Script or software.
Yeah, it was basically a website where like people could interact with the algorithm, so they could like change the headphone shape directly, and they get direct feedback on how well this headphone is compared to different variations of it. And so it was more like a visual thing than a physical thing. Yeah.
And how was it accepted during your like a presentation of your work?
I think I had to defend the project way more than others, because it was quite it is a very abstract field. Like if you're not moving in this field, it can be very like what is a parameter, like what are these numbers, what is happening, are you still in control of the design, or is the what's the creativity of it? And so like I had to be quite clear about why I would use computational design, and what the benefit would be, and what's the role of an industrial designer in this field as well.
And you were successful.
I passed, yeah.
You passed. And I found as well that you wrote an article like about explaining the computational design to beginners.
Yeah.
So we are talking about this term here for some time. If you had to give one sentence or very briefly for our listeners to explain what it is.
Computational design. I mean, computational design is basically an umbrella terms for various design tools or digital design tools that are highly driven by data. So you have a clear input, you have a clear logic, and you have a more or less clear output. Like in some, like for example, topology optimization, it's more wanky sometimes, but it's like basically an umbrella term, and I think, yeah. So like it's huge there.
Yeah, I'm okay with that explanation. Thanks. And after the graduation, was your direction clear, or did you have some period of time to figuring out what will you do next, or what happened after you graduated?
So I think it already happened during my graduation. So I was quite fortunate to work on a facade project during my bachelor thesis, which was quite intense to work on a bachelor thesis and on a fairly complex facade project. So I haven't worked on facades before at all. So there was a lot of learning to do.
And it was not your like a student project.
No.
I know that some students, they use it as a, if you have something from the some work, that you can use it as your student project, but you didn't do that.
No.
Yeah, it was separate. So yeah, why not to learn something new while finishing your studies?
Yeah, I mean the intriguing part was that I was already clear about that industrial design was one part, but like computational design was the more interesting part for me. And I think the nice thing about this field of computational design, it detaches a bit from the classical like industrial design, architecture, or engineering. It's like very cross field. And so I think that made the change a bit easier to move into this to architectural construction field.
But then, so you did this project during the studies, and after you graduated, you kind of continue collaborating on it, or?
Yeah, so I think like after finishing the facade, me and my now business partner were like, okay, that's quite fun to work on projects like this, and we tested out to work on different metal things, like not only facades, but also like you have various parts in a construction site where you have like wall claddings and stuff like this. So we're like, okay, let's make a company and see where we're heading, like where interest is coming from. And so we just started out of the blue with VektorNode, and then now we're 3.5 years in, and we're just like
having a lot of fun. I saw, I can confirm, I saw the results. And I want to go with one question a bit back. Do you think, so because we said that you were thinking to go to study architecture, do you think that actually it would influence, or if you would go to study architecture, do you think you would end up in the similar kind of situation, being focused on the computational design? Or do you regret that you didn't study architecture and you studied industrial design? Or do you think it has some influence?
So I think like I was always interested in technology itself. Like that was always from early on, like building my own PCs and stuff like this. So I knew that I liked the technical digital part. So I can imagine myself like also in the architectural field moving into that direction. Maybe it would have been BIM then maybe, or something like this. But I think like the nice thing with industrial design, even though I don't actively work on products anymore, you get a really nice tool set on how to solve problems. So that was really, really nice. Like in Zetadika, we always got tasks. They were quite vague how to solve them. And then you had to figure out a product way on how to solve this problem. So I think like these tools I still use nowadays, and I think, I can imagine in the architectural fields you have similar problem-solving things.
Yes. No, yeah, I think I'm a bit like critical about the studies at the architecture faculties normally, but I think it gives you really good set to solve the problems. So it's like a pretty, on several like levels, and
So you had also like these problem-solving tasks in the studies.
So we always, so I studied mainly in Czech Republic, then shortly in South Korea, and very shortly in Paris.
Yeah.
But you mostly, basically in all the 3 schools, you have, the main subject is that you get some project. But the project it's still very often like an architecture project. And there you get, something to solve.
Okay.
But I really like, this kind of like a critical thinking about the problems, and that the problem is usually, it's not only aesthetics, it as well like structural things, it can be material things, and that you have to kind of like think about several things at the same time.
Yeah. I think also with industrial design, like the user is in the center, so you have a like very human-centered, or like that's a very overly used term, I guess, but like a very human-centered design thinking. So like that was like a huge part during the studies as well. So to not only design because of fun, but also like.
No, definitely. I think the social kind of aspect of it as well. Yeah. And that, you're designing for the people. So not for the robots, or not yet for the robots. Let's see what the future will bring. But, and so if I understand it correctly, you never worked for some company where you would work as an industrial designer until now? No.
I'd be curious to give it a try.
You would be?
Yeah, because I don't have a reference on how it is. So.
Yeah, I can only confirm that you work in a very nice office and with pretty nice surroundings. So your working life looks pretty cool. So maybe let's move to that, to the VektorNode. Did I say it correctly? Yeah. I think I read the motto like system over scripts, production over prototypes. Let's dig into what it means in practice.
All right, yeah.
Is that the motto of the VektorNode?
Yeah, I think it comes a bit more from the industrial design thinking. Like in industrial design, you build, or like, I don't know if that's really, really correct, but that's how I think about it, is like in industrial design, you design products, and in the architectural space, it's more like you design prototypes. Like it's more like it's always a one-off, or most of the time a one-off is like not that repetitive. But in industrial design, you have maybe in the beginning a prototype, you optimize it, and then you have a product that you can produce like hundreds or 100,000s of times. And so like this thinking, or bringing this thinking more into the construction, I think that's the goal with that. So like, for example, with this metal cladding stuff like this, you have like a process that is more or less the same in different construction projects or like in different housing projects, but it's like often reinvented or like slightly changed on every project. And so like, for example, here with the metal cladding and stuff like this, we optimized like standard architectural parts that are like repetitive, but also like in every time a little bit differently. But we optimized them so much that like every little cut is highly optimized. So it's like basically more a product in this way than a prototype. So that was the idea behind this motto.
No, yeah, it makes me think a lot now in my head, and I never really realized that in the industrial design, you have the prototypes. You are producing over and over the same thing to make it really perfect. Yeah,
and I mean that was here. Like we're also in the building of Kalmar Zone here, and so like we have this metal cladding company, and so I was quite fortunate to sit here as well and see like what worked on a project and what not. And so we always gathered all information and put it in a new algorithm in this way. And so like over time, and like it went from a prototype to a product. And so we did these iterations.
Yeah. So I will, I think, go to all the things a bit more in detail. If you just can say, so the VektorNode, what do you do? What's the day-to-day work? Is there a day-to-day work?
I try to make it more a day-to-day work. Like sometimes you can lose yourself in very abstract things, or like you lose yourself in things that are just fun. So that's nice, but also like dangerous that you spend time on things that are not the main focus and just like exploring new things. But I think that's also part of it. But most of the time, it's me sitting on a PC and typing away, either in Grasshopper or different programs to generate production data in an automated way.
Yeah, what you said at the beginning, that I think it's actually that you can get lost in this like the funny part of your work. I think I definitely know that. And I always tell to myself that if I still have this like a need and the passion to do it, it's good, because then you can see that some people they lose it within the time and they really do only the day-to-day work. So I think I try to a bit like support to this like a passion to do the funny work. But yeah, one has to kind of still think to not to get totally lost in it. And you mentioned that we are in this building of the Karel
Maya Zone.
Exactly, you pronounce it much better than I would do. And the VektorNode was registered, I found, in October 2022.
Yeah.
And your co-founder, you mentioned the name already, it's the Roger Meijer.
Maya. Yes.
Meijer. So you can maybe tell me, how did you choose him to be your co-founder, or he chose you?
I think it was very symbiotic at this point. Like we did the facade together. Like he was the construction. How do you say? Bauherr. I don't know what's the name in English.
I don't know in English how I would say. Let's say Bauherr.
So he got me into this project, and by that time, like he really believed in me in a way that like was crazy to me. Like I had no experience before with facade design, but he was like, yeah, like I trust you, you do that. And so that gave me so much drive to learn, to work on everything. And so like I think like when you have a person that really believes in you, like that's amazing to have. And so like he was also open to try new things, new fun things. Like he's running this company already, I don't know, long time. So he was also like curious to explore a bit more what is possible to do with new technologies, especially combined with metal fabrication. And so that's how it came to be in the end.
And so the VektorNode, it's not part of the other company. It's like two separate businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we work a lot like together since they have a lot of knowledge about metal, but in the end it's like two different entities, and I'm just happen to be in the same office building.
Yeah. And is it difficult to find clients that want to kind of invest in such designs? Yeah,
I think there are various reasons why, but yeah, I think it's difficult first to explain what you're offering, since it's quite abstract, and like the customer is quite broad. So now I have a customer that makes big filtration systems. So like that's again like totally gone from the architectural space. So it's quite difficult to know what your user or your customer would be. And also I think it's the risk involved in making new facade projects, I think like is rare that someone is open to try something new, because like, okay, like who is vouching for the new design? Will everything go as planned? How much will it cost? There are sometimes quite a few unknowns, but I think like now with working with a couple of projects like this, it gets more clear on like, okay, we're going in this direction, or like how complex will it be? Where will we have problems? In the end, it's mostly logistics, which turned out. But yeah, I think like if you have a customer that knows what he wants, like it's easy in this way. But if you have a potential customer that never really heard about computational design, sometimes it just takes so long to just explain what it does and what the benefit is, that either in the end it's too abstract for them and they're like not going for it, or yeah, it's just like, I think that's mostly the fear. They don't know what they get in the end. Although like the upsides are mostly like really, really nice.
Yeah, I think if you see the result, if you see the facade on the building, then you can really kind of like understand. But we shortly discussed it before we started the podcast, that there are actually not so many companies who could do specifically the metal facades on the level you can do it, right?
Or on the production side, I would say. I think there are many companies that do like big metal, like these more robust metal facades. But here, like it's more sheet metal, so it's like thinner material, or like up to maybe 3 millimeters thick. And like many companies here in Switzerland that work in this field of like, it's called Spenglerei. They're like more smaller. They don't have like here at Kamaya Zone. They have like a laser cutter, so like it makes these projects even like possible. Without a laser cutter, it's like you can't do projects like this. So that's also part of why that's possible now.
Yeah, and So to your decision to start your own business, now when is it already 3.5 years, do you think it was a good decision for yourself?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I think I went into this knowingly, like I liked statistics sometimes. So like I saw what the chances are of making it past year 1, past year 2, past year 3. So I came in with this mindset that this will most likely fail, like in this way. But I had like, or like not fail, but that will be extremely difficult. But I didn't focus that much on that because like I think like I had so much fun learning new things, and even if it wouldn't work out, like the things you learn on this way are so nice because like you have everything. Like you have from the business aspect, you get to know things. You have like really deep technical things. Then you get a feeling of like what is involved, like who do you have to talk with, and get the possibility to talk to a lot of really, really interesting people as well.
Now when I'm thinking in my head, I think I actually met you very shortly after you decided to co-found the VektorNode.
Yeah, that's probably right. Yeah,
because I think you were kind of like laughing that you're starting your own company, and now it's kind of in my head. I think it's the time wise, it's like around the time
that could track. Yeah,
but it's pretty cool to see that it's still going on, and I think the good choice of the co-founder is very important.
Yeah, I think having a good partner is absolutely key.
And I think to have the shared passion.
Oh yeah, and like he's also ready to take risks that I think most co-founders or business partners wouldn't be down to. But he's like, okay, let's go for it, let's try it, and like this you can figure out things that were not tried before, but now you have the possibility to try them.
Yeah. Good. I will a bit jump to another topic, and it's that I know about you that you are involved in the open source construction. What is your role there today, or how did you get involved?
So I went to a hackathon there for the first time. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like you can, like when I talk to more like other people about computational design and like algorithms and stuff like this, it's like, okay, yeah. And then like at the hackathon when you said something, like they're people like, we could use like this algorithm and we can use that and that. So that was like super nice to found a crowd to that speaks more the same language. So that was really nice. And then also the topic of open source was interested to me. Like I've never really thought about it that much because I was just coding and that's it. And so like after the second, and then next year, the year after I went again, and then I was like, okay, I would like to be involved. So I just wrote Max, like if I can be involved. And so like we started to figure out, okay, like how can one contribute to this project? What do we need and stuff like this? And we always had like every 2 weeks or something like this, like a meet up or like a digital Zoom. So we talked about different topics, about open source, what the role is at the moment. So I was like really more interested in that. And so now I'm mostly working on like the project directory. So it's basically a collection of open source projects, and we try to nicely tag them. So they're community driven, so they can everyone can just apply to that their project is getting on top of this website. And it should just help people in the space to get more traction. Since I think that's often the most difficult part. You have your little software tool or something like this, and it might be super, super helpful for many people, but
nobody knows about it.
No one knows about it. So that's one part, and then we have this community stand-ups now, where we invite people that are on this repository or like this website to talk about their project, and which is super nice to be also in these calls, because you always get to know new things about like I'm not from the architectural space, so like about BIM, so like there are like so many niche things, so like okay, that's how it works, that's why
I think it's so
it.
much needed to just like talk about the things with the others, because everybody is solving their own problems and not really sharing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But maybe kind of like to that, and even like to your work, you give some of your like a plugins or like things like away for free.
Yeah.
Why? Isn't it kind of like giving away some like a competitiveness or?
I mean, for one, it's a pretty good marketing tool.
Yeah.
Like that's just one part of it. Like it's that's obviously a thought behind that as well. But also, like I think I use a lot of free tools in my work, and so like why not participate in this more open movement? And I think with that I also got more customers in this way.
Yeah.
Because like you have this open tool, they want to use it, and so who knows it better than anyone else? It's the person that programs it, basically. So that was also one. But also with open sourcing, I think it's nice that I have my limited time, and more people can work on it. And also, I think more and more people are not willing anymore to invest in black boxes anymore. So, like, if you have a software product and you can't access what's behind it, like that's quite a big risk if you build systems on top of that. But if you're like fully in control or like can copy the code, it takes a bit away the fear of like, when I'm not here anymore or something like this, they can continue their work.
And we mentioned the hackathons. Hackathons? Actually, I think only like 2 or 3 happened in Zurich. Yeah. It's not that long time ago, right? That they started.
Yeah, I think like maybe 3 or
3. So. Yeah, I think so. The biggest, or like the founder, it's Maximilian.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I never joined it because I think I was either pregnant or I couldn't have time because of my daughter. But I think it's really that always when I meet somebody who joined, that it's really like full of inspiration, and you meet the people and you talk the same problems. So I'm really happy that he started in Zurich or in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And so can you say some like a specific, or like maybe just say for yourself, what brings you being part of this community?
I think mainly the exchange between people. I think like I'm here in my office, I work on my desk all the time. I don't have that much exchange. Like I just solve problems from early morning till evening, which is a lot of fun for me. But sometimes your thinking process gets quite linear, I feel like, and so like as soon as you get more inputs from outside, you suddenly also find new ways to solve problems, or like you find out about problems that you didn't know about, but maybe you have a tool that already solves that. So that's really nice to hear what other people are trying to solve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my next question, I kind of have to ask AI. How is it? Do you think it's already changing your workflow every day?
I think the workflow itself not. It makes it way faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. I think the workflow itself, is basically solving problems in a geometrical way. So I think, or like maybe it changes that you change your language more. You get more specific about your language. Like I think and which is also quite nice. You really have to understand the problem. You have to really articulate what the problem is in detail, and the more specific you can get about it, the better the output gets from the AI. So I think like if you vaguely ask any AI model something, they will vaguely return a result. So I think that's a good thinking practice as well, to be more clear about the project, the problem. Yeah.
And can you say some like a concrete way how you use AI?
Everywhere, basically. So I think sometimes now I work a lot with point clouds. And the nice thing is the structure of point clouds is quite simple. It's like just points and stuff like this. And it turns out AI is really good in how do we process points basically in an intelligent way. So I just can be really show screenshots and talk and stuff like this. So we figure out algorithms to, for example, better find specific features in a scanned environment. And so it's a back and forth, and then in the end it's like a teamwork in this way. So we figure out, okay, we could use that algorithm over that one, and this we might get the best result, and then I run it, and maybe I have my own ideas, so I add them as well, and then it's like a feedback loop. And it gets quite interesting, and it's just way faster than.
So you got another working partner, kind of, that you are not sitting alone, but you can talk to someone.
Yeah, that's basically what's happening.
Yeah. Cool. And so do you use on everyday basis Grasshopper?
I use it I don't use the components anymore, like all these little things. I just code inside it or outside it. Since I've worked on scripts where there are 20,000 components in there, and it's not performant, and also if you want to reuse stuff or performance, or just figure out a bug somewhere, it just gets horrific. So I don't work in Grasshopper itself anymore. It's a nice thing to visualize stuff and stuff like this, but I mostly work outside it.
Yeah.
And also it's more also building web platforms that in the end control Grasshopper and stuff like this. So also not everyone wants to be faced with Grasshopper, I think, if you had a look at it. So it's also the idea to abstract that away and make a nice interface on top of it. Yeah.
Because for me, Grasshopper is kind of like an image of the computational design, or somehow, from the studies and from the time. But more and more, I have a feeling it's not the future of the topic, kind of. But I think you nicely explain what you can do. And for yourself, if you now look a bit back on your professional career, And what's the one thing your younger self got completely wrong about the design or the business?
I think, like, if I quickly explain how nice it is and how efficient and everything is, they will just jump into it. Like, they no questions asked. So I think like I was a bit more like, okay, I saw always the potential of like how much time you can save, how much material and everything. So I thought like, okay, like everyone has to jump on this train. But I realized there is a lot more behind it. Mm-hmm. So maybe I was a bit too naive that mm-hmm. everyone is like, okay, yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I understand. Good. I mentioned, or actually I'm not 100% sure, I think you're Swiss, right?
Yeah.
You were born in Switzerland. Can you maybe tell me how do you build your network, or how do you find the new clients? How the Swiss scene kind of works?
That's a good question. I think even though LinkedIn is maybe a difficult place right now, or like generally sometimes, I think it's still for me one of the most efficient tools. So like I think over this, like I sometimes share what I worked on, something like this, even though I'm sometimes like, okay, do I really post that and stuff like this? But in the end, it's just the best way to grow your network, probably. Or like, I don't have the time to always go to every event and travel the world to go everywhere. So I have to do it over this way. And I think like also participating in open source projects is a way to connect. And also, I think like the Rhino forum, like there's a like where people ask about Grasshopper and stuff like this.
Oh, I didn't know that. What is it? Rhino forum?
Like Neil forum or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like there's like it's a huge community there. It's very active. So I spend a good amount of time there, like just people asking or like have problems to solve, which is sometimes quite fun. I use it as a little puzzle sometimes when I'm just like can't work on my stuff anymore. Yeah, so I need a little like
to shift
something. So I go on this forum and see like if there's an interesting problem that someone has, and if I can solve it or solve it more efficiently. And then like you get into connection with the community as well.
Yeah, no, I find LinkedIn really like a great platform. Yeah, recently a bit difficult to be there to kind of like see all happening and all the posting and so.
Yeah.
But I still, I get a lot of information and a lot of networking there. Even I would say Swiss people are pretty active. They're not so active on other social media, but on LinkedIn, yes. And how could you describe the Swiss approach to adopting a new ways, like of working, or I think maybe especially in construction and architecture.
Well, I don't know if there is one Swiss way, because I think like if I look at my business partner and
there are differences.
How he is handling things, and then I see other people how much risk they're willing to do. These are worlds apart. But I generally think it's more risk awareness. Like, okay, like using a new tool, there is way more pre-processing till you get to this point of, okay, we give it a try even, or something like this. So there's a lot more like talks before.
Yeah, a lot of talks before.
Yeah. So which can be sometimes like when you're in the 5th meeting and you still have to explain, that can sometimes be a bit demotivating to like, okay,
But I'm happy to hear that you see it similar, like I see it, and exactly what you said, that there are several like meetings where you basically everybody says the same thing, and everybody's okay with it, and okay, let's decide in the next meeting.
Yeah, like no one is ready to commit, or like I think like or like, not everyone, but like I think it takes more to commit.
Yeah.
And not just talk about it and see about it, but then in the end don't do anything about it. Because it's like a comfortable place maybe where you're currently in. So why taking a risk with a new technology if it works just as is?
But on the other hand, my feeling and my experience is that people like to talk about the new things and kind of be aware that it is possible. But to make the shift to try it, it takes really long, a long time and a lot of talking.
Yeah. Like I work less with architects, so I don't know how that is. But more on the production side, it's quite like this.
Yeah, and sometimes I have a feeling it's not even that you have to show a lot of. Like a proof that it can really work, but it's more the time people need to kind of accept the idea to do it.
Yeah, and I think like what also I think is the point, especially with software or new technologies. Like if you're coming from outside and you're maybe like the owner is in agreement with you. But in the end, like there will be people that use these tools, and so like these are the main people you have to have on board, because they will have to use it, and if they don't use it, then they obviously will not go for it.
Yeah. And for yourself, what is the biggest, like the most difficult points when you work with your clients, or where does kind of the collaboration get hard?
That's a good question. I think sometimes it's about technicalities in a very low detail. So, for example, you want to optimize a part and they're not quite sure, or they're not sure enough what the problem actually is, or what the result actually should be. And so it's sometimes difficult to make a tool that solves something where the problem is not clearly defined, or the output is not clearly defined. So like this, sometimes you lose a lot of time where it's just like this unclarity, because like with computational design, everything has to be defined in the highest detail.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it goes to production, it goes on a laser or a fabrication system, and so if you didn't thought about the thing, it will cost you a lot of money. So I think not clear problem statements. That's the difficult part.
And we when we ran through the building, we kind of like mention it. I would like to talk a bit about the future. What's the vision for the future? Do you think, or what role do you see the robotics and automation like playing in the architecture over the next 5-10 years, or even nearer future?
I think it will have an extremely big role in a way that, especially on the construction side or like on the fabrication side of things, it's quite difficult to find qualified people that are still willing to go on the construction side. that are willing to be outside in any weather or with snow in the boiling sun. So it's quite difficult to find people that work in this field anymore. And so I think in this regard, robotics gets quite important. So we still are able to deliver projects in a way when there are no workers around anymore, or like less of them. I just see it here. Like it's quite difficult to find people that are willing to make the fabrication part of it.
Yeah. So you think that we will be surrounded by the robots on the construction side, or like in the construction?
Yeah, I don't know if on the construction side. I mean, there is this whole 3D printing building thing coming up. I'm not that deep into it, so I don't know what's going on there. But I think like more the classic fabrication will move more into robotic facilities.
And so your business is, after 3.5 years, still running. But where do you see your future, your professional future, where it will develop?
I mean, I think like that's I stay quite open where it can go. I think like if I'm too focused on something, like I don't see anymore what's going around me. So I want to be flexible with that. But going a bit away from like the facade itself and more into systems. So like, as I said, like in there are like various metals in the construction field, or there are like, for example, now we're looking at like balconies. So they always have like tilings and stuff like this. How can we use, for example, point clouds to directly generate all the tiling for all the balconies in the building?
Oh.
So like problems that are like very like practical in a way, like.
But really kind of like solve the easy problems.
Yeah, exactly. Like not reinventing how like. Or like making new things in this way, but like processes that are already existing for a very long time and didn't change that much. Have a look at them and see how, with new technologies, can we do something about it, or can we do it better?
Good. And I like to ask about your kind of like daily routines, or what keeps you being motivated.
Yeah, that's a good question. Sometimes, I mean, it's difficult. That I'm really bad at stopping. Like
at stopping.
Yeah. So I'm here usually at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then I leave around 5, 6, and then in the evening I make maybe 2 more hours or something like this. So I'm like, if I have a problem in mind, I will sit on it till it's done or so.
Okay.
So also on holidays, I'm still like, okay, like how can I solve this? How can I solve that? I always have my laptop with me everywhere.
But are you happy like that?
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's great. It's like solving puzzles all the time, and it keeps my brain active, I think.
Yeah.
So I, instead of like maybe spending my time on TikTok sometimes, I'm like finding a new problem and trying to solve it. So it's also dangerous because like the line between like work and private life gets quite blurry because you're constantly thinking about, okay, like what could I do? Yeah,
I think it is very difficult, and I try to have some work-life balance. But at the same time, I know that there was a time when I was younger, as you are. I used to work really a lot, because I love the same thing. Like if there is some puzzle I can solve, I love to solve it. And I definitely work over the weekends, on the vacations, but it kind of like pushed me to some level in my career that I could kind of chill a bit later, or that it brought me something.
Yeah.
So I think there are maybe like different phases in life. When it makes you happy to work that much, it's good.
Yeah,
and maybe then there will be later another phase when you want to work a bit less. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very aware. Like, I will, with this pace, I will not go for the rest of my life. But it works for me right now. So, like, if people ask me, what about the work-life balance? So then I just like, okay, maybe I have a different understanding of the work-life balance.
But I think then it means that you don't need motivation. You are motivated enough at the moment to find the solutions. Yeah,
and I mean it's so rewarding when you
have the answer.
That's proper dopamine there. Which is the dangerous part as well.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And if you are missing some knowledges, where would you go? What is your source of information?
Over the years, I've found a couple of things, especially like this Rhino Rhino forum, where you can ask questions that for sure no one asked Google before or something like this, and in 24 hours you can be sure that there is like a discussion about it. So that's really good. I think, I mean, nowadays of course AI is a big thing, so instead of researching for hours, it can pinpoint me to some articles or something like this, which saves me a lot of time of like finding them, and then I just get presented with an option, for example, and then I can see what's actually relevant for me. And just like stay in touch with as many people as possible. I think then someone comes with a new project or problem, or you remember he had a problem that was similar. So I like to know about other people's problems.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested in them all the time.
That's nicely put. Yeah, good. I think I would slowly close it here. Maybe one last question would be, what's for you like the one thing you wish that the kind of like the construction industry understood better about the computational design? What would be your pitch for?
I mean, in the end, that it's a tool like anything else. Like, it's not something, there is no magic behind it. There is most of the time real outcome. It's not just playing around and displaying some nice things on the screen, but like it has the possibility to enable new things that were not possible before, and also in regards of productivity, just give an extreme boost in certain fields.
Yeah, good. That was really nice closing. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for opening up about your work, about your business, about the industry. And I think I will definitely add some links to the episode that the people can get your plugins or things. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.